The year is 1988. The Cold War is a battle of nerves and rockets. The Americans, with their reusable space shuttle, seem to have the upper hand. But then, the Soviets quietly unveil their answer. Buran, a near-identical spacecraft, it emerges as if from a cloak of secrecy. A giant white silent bird. It is both an answer to a question and a question itself. Why would the Soviets build a copycat shuttle? And what are their plans for this technological marvel? The world watches with a mix of awe and suspicion. This is the Cold War, after all. Trust is a luxury no one can afford. The silence from the Soviet Union is deafening. Buran is a symbol of their ambition, their resilience, and their ability to surprise. But it is also a stark reminder of the secrecy that shrouded the Soviet space program. To understand Buran, you have to understand the paranoia of the Cold War. The US space shuttle wasn't just about scientific exploration, it was a symbol of American power. It could theoretically deploy weapons from space. This terrified the Kremlin. They saw a need to match the Americans, to counter the potential threat. They needed their own spaceplane. The Soviets had already invested heavily in space. They had launched the first satellite, Sputnik. They had put the first man in space, Yuri Gagarin. But the shuttle was different. It was reusable, flexible, and potentially militaristic. The Soviets had to respond. They had to create their own version of this American eagle. And thus, the Buran program was born. Building a space shuttle isn't easy, especially when you're trying to catch up with your Cold War rival. The Soviets resorted to a combination of espionage and homegrown ingenuity. They gathered information on the US shuttle program through various means. Some say they even snatched blueprints from under the noses of the CIA. But Buran wasn't a simple copy. Soviet engineers, brilliant minds working under immense pressure, made significant improvements. They developed a completely automated landing system. This meant Buran could return to Earth without a pilot, a feat the US shuttle could only dream of. The irony was palpable. The Soviets, masters of secrecy, had built a more advanced machine. Energia, a colossus of thrust. Buran couldn't fly on hope and dreams. It needed a rocket, a bloody massive one. Enter Energia, the most powerful rocket ever built by the Soviet Union. This behemoth could lift over 100 tons into orbit. It made the American Saturn V, the rocket that took man to the moon, look like a school project. Energia was designed to be modular. It could carry different payloads, not just Buran. It was a testament to Soviet ambition in space. They weren't just thinking about catching up with the US. They were thinking bigger. They dreamt of space stations, lunar bases, even missions to Mars. Energia was the key. It was the powerhouse that would fuel their cosmic ambitions. Buran's lone flight. After years of secrecy and speculation, the day arrived. November 15th, 1988. Buran, perched atop the mighty Energia, roared to life. The launch was flawless. The world held its breath as the massive rocket climbed through the atmosphere. Buran separated from Energia and entered orbit. It circled the Earth twice. Then, in a display of technological prowess, it landed autonomously. No cosmonaut at the controls, just a computer following its programming. It was a triumph. Buran had proven itself. It was a spaceplane for the future. The Soviets had arrived. They had matched the Americans, but their victory was bittersweet. The Soviet Union itself was on the verge of collapse. Dreams dashed on the launch pad. Buran was supposed to be the start of a new era in Soviet space exploration. Plans were in motion for a space station, for a lunar base, even for a manned mission to Mars. Buran was to be the workhorse, ferrying cosmonauts and cargo to and from these outposts. But history, as it often does, had other plans. The Berlin Wall fell. The Soviet Union crumbled. With it went the funding for ambitious space projects. Buran, the symbol of Soviet might, became a victim of its own success. It was simply too expensive for a nation struggling to survive. The program was scrapped. The dreams of a Soviet future in space were dashed on the launch pad. A legacy in pieces. Today, the Buran shuttles sit as relics of a bygone era. One, the only one to fly in space, was destroyed in a hangar collapse in 2002. The others are scattered across the former Soviet Union. Museum pieces, monuments to what might have been. A tragic end for such a magnificent machine. Buran is a reminder that even the most ambitious dreams can be grounded by political realities. It is a testament to the ingenuity of Soviet engineers, and it is a symbol of the enduring fascination with space exploration. Even in the face of adversity, even in the twilight of a superpower, the human desire to reach for the stars remains undimmed.